Hi, Linda Bowen here from StampingWithLinda.com, your cardiologist since 1997, helping you create cards from the heart. It's Tuesday, so Fancy Fold, and today's Fancy Fold was shared with me by a team member once again during my challenge to my team, and this was shared by Sue Floyd of Akron. She called it a Lattice Easel card. Again, I'm just saying Fancy Fold because everybody has a different name for things. I'm starting out with a 4 1/4 by 11 piece of cardstock, and I have already scored it at the 2 3/8 mark and the 7 7/8 mark. Now this forms our card base. You want to make sure your lines are nice and crisp. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to take my exposed brick embossing folder, and I am going to, for the full card, I embossed this end and this end. But for the video, I'm just going to do this end to show you. I'm just going to line up the end of the embossing folder, not the line, but the end where the design ends, and I'm going to run that through my Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. So I'm just embossing where it has been scored. Oops, my paper fell out. But you'll see the nice embossed edge. Next, what I'm going to bring in is my blending brush, scrap piece of grit paper, and my crumb cake ink pad, and I'm lightly going to sponge that embossing. Like I said, I did the same thing on the other end. So I'm getting embossing on both sides, the front and the back. And I'm just sponging that brick to make it stand out a little bit more and to kind of look like a brick wall, because then I'm going to do my lattice work. Now I have found some tips on using the lattice. Again, you'll see in my card that I embossed to this end. I have found that if I grab my silicone mat and work on my silicone mat. It's like I need to clean my silicone mat. But I find it works well. I have cut strips. So I took a 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, or excuse me, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I did the same thing. I embossed it and sponged it. Then I cut it in strips. I cut 5 strips that are 1/2 by 4 1/4 and 4 strips that are 1/2 by 3 1/2. So I want to show you some tricks that I learned putting this together. When I do the 1/2 by 3 1/2, these are the post for my lattice work. So I am just going to take my multi-purpose glue, and I'm just going to add a little bit at the top, and what you want to line it up with is the bottom score line. So I've glued it at the top, and you want to line it up with the bottom. Now you could measure to make sure that your lattice posts are the same apart. I just found that I eyeball it and it works good enough for me. So again, I'm going to take the other 1/2 by 3 1/2 and just kind of, like I said, eyeball it. Again, making sure that it lines up with the score line. Then what I found when I did my cross pieces, if I laid a ruler down like so, then when I go to put my cross pieces on, it just helps me make sure that I've got them straight. I also found that if I did the bottom and the top, and then space my lattice in between, it worked the best. So I'm going to go ahead and lay that lattice down like so, and that needs to be right up against your score line. This one up here we're going to leave just about, oh, not quite, I don't think, 1/4 of an inch. Again, line it up to the ruler. And so we're going to run our slats all the way down. And I'm going to bring in the one that I've already got done so that you can see. I'm going to put the cap on my glue. Again, this is my multi-purpose glue, and I bought this applicator online, and I really like it. So here's the card with the lattice work already done. I've done my slits, and then I took the other 2 pieces that are 1/2 by 3.5, and I put them on the back side to cover up that. So this is our card. And now what I'm going to do, I have already taken, we know that this month my tutorial, customer tutorial, is using the inked and tiled bundle. I've taken my Calypso Coral, Crushed Curry, and Lost Lagoon and have already colored my flowers in. I'm going to add them together like so. Just, I think I'm going to use a small glue dot. Excuse me. So I'm going to put that glue dot right on that flower. And then we're going to add it to my lattice. Like right here. So I'm going to put a glue dot. Do it here at right about there. Oops, guess I need to take the backing off. And then for the ones at the top, I'm going to secure them down more. I'm going to use the big, larger dimensional for the bigger flower. You need to be careful when putting your flowers down because of the lattice. You don't want to put adhesive within the lattice work. So you need to be mounting them on the card base itself. So we've got that. I have taken the Hello Friend. This is from that inked tiled bundle. I have inked it with the Lost Lagoon and layered it with the Lost Lagoon. And then what I have done, I have 2 pieces of the Designer Series paper. This is the Ink Botanical. This measures 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. And I'm going to put that down here at the bottom. I am covering up that lattice work. I forgot that I had decided that I liked doing that better. Not the lattice work, but the brick on the bottom, because I like that Lost Lagoon paper behind the lattice. And when I put this at the bottom, it just matches it better. So we're going to add this one up here at the top, like so. And then my card folds over like so, and you see that Lost Lagoon behind the lattice work. I'm going to take the Happy Birthday. Again, I used the Lost Lagoon ink and cardstock, and that is going to be our stopper for our easel. I'm going to put that about there, I think. Yes. Kind of hard to see in the video or on the camera, but it folds like so, and then you have room to write up at the top. So there you have a latticed easel card using the inked and title bundle. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. We'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.